Welcome back to Cyber Sea of Galilee, DSMME. On this feast day that touches the hearts of countless thousands of people throughout the world, this is the feast of the great Saint Pio of Pietrelcina, affectionately known as Padre Pio. Padre Pio was a Franciscan friar, and he actually was gifted, even as a little boy, with the supernatural gift of seeing his guardian angel and conversing with his guardian angel, such that later on he was to say, when someone pointed out how unusual this is, that he had such a grace, he said, but I was raised like this. My guardian angel was always a part of my life. I thought everyone could see their own guardian angel. So you immediately know God has blessed this little boy. This little boy was also blessed with tremendous suffering. And Padre Pio, when he was in the novitiate for the Franciscans over in Italy, he would continue to have health problems. His life is very fascinating, and we could go into many aspects, but Cyber Sea only takes so long to cross the sea, you see, so we have to kind of keep it at a certain amount of time. But he would have many health issues. And I often think when I hear a person who has health issues, pray to Padre Pio, because he understood, especially if it's a younger person, especially if it's someone who is trying to find God's will and yet at the same time is afflicted with health issues. And as vocation director, I can't tell you how many young people are like this. And so you try to find God's will in the midst of the suffering. For him, he definitely had this vocation to the Franciscans. And so the superiors and all decided to keep him, but to continue to send him away, sometimes back home to his mother, who he was deeply indebted to, and to whom he pretty much canonized her in his own mind, in his own heart, and for good reason. And also to other places where he could go and get a respite and see if his health would improve. Miraculously, as the saints are full of many miracles in their lives, and so are our lives if we see the miracles, miraculously he became healthier, though he never became extremely healthy, because what happened after his ordination, not too soon after that, he actually, so to speak, traded in some of the health issues for other health issues. What were the new ones? God gifted him with the gift of the stigmata, or the passion of Christ, or the wounds, Christ's wounds, in his, Padre Pio's, hands and feet and side. And there are many stories about St. Padre Pio and the way he carried the stigmata, and he bled so profusely that back in Pietrelcina, where he lived the last years of his life and where he died, there are many gloves that are blood soaked that have been kept, because they're relics of his blood, but they're also relics of the blood that oozed from his hands, and it would from his side, the heart wound of Christ, and it certainly did from his feet as well. He was a tremendous mystic. He would fight the evil one, the devil, many times, and he would be beat up the next morning, and he would say that the old evil one had many fights with him last night. And so he physically was attacked by the evil one because he couldn't get him spiritually. We are talking about a mystical saint that lived not even 100 years ago. He is a tremendous saint of our time. And if you have great devotion to Padre Pio, you also will be asked to carry the cross, but you also will be assured of the graces. And he began this even in his lifetime, and I certainly am one, and I know many of you are too. What we are called are children of Padre Pio, that he is in a very special way a spiritual father to us, because he adds that aspect of strength under the cross. Very close to Mary, under the cross, very close to the heart of Christ, because his own heart bled profusely in imitation of our Savior. So he was a tremendous saint, and I have such filial devotion to him, because in so many ways he is a spiritual father, because my mother, who really had great devotion to him, taught us as children to love Padre Pio. My mother was taken home to heaven, I believe, on the feast of St. Padre Pio, which was a Sunday at that particular time, and he was canonized on my father's next birthday, June 16th. And so there's so many things, but if you are a child of Padre Pio, get ready for many adventures in life. And they're all worth it because, as we know, on this Cyber Sea of Galilee, DSMME, the only thing we really desire to do is follow Christ in every moment of our life. And like St. Padre Pio, go home and see him face to face. Signing off from Cyber Sea of Galilee on this very special feast of many graces, St. Padre Pio, staying with Mary in the heart of her Son.